Hey, look, something is coming out of the slot after all.
Can you point it? Not at me?
Yeah,
That
sure.
sounds.
What's going on?
That sounds.
Yeah.
Just point it.
I'm going to keep it pointed away from me just in case. And then what's going on?
Hello. This is the 241st Test from the Future, an experimental podcast from the year 2225, which we are sending from our present to yours. My name is Dirk.
And my name is Simon.
And we're putting the past in podcast. So, today we speak about the Televator.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's our topic for today.
But we have one slight follow-up from last week's Bubble Condo episode.
Mm-hmm. Right. The marketing material that we spoke about, the flyer that came about that.
Yeah.
There was something we didn't realise.
Yes. It's we only realized after we recorded, but the flyer was like an old-fashioned static flyer. Mm-hmm. We realized already it wasn't animated.
Right, it seemed a bit old-fashioned, like not to have an animated flyer, but to have a static one, just look like a piece of paper.
Especially for such a futuristic thing. Mm-hmm. Turn out with the normal flyers, you grab it at the corners, and then the animations start.
Exactly, it's powered by your body heat.
Yeah. But in this case, you had to grab it in the middle.
Yeah, which is a really odd decision. I mean, I'm assuming it was an intentional decision.
I assume so, yeah.
Or maybe a misprint. But exactly, normally you hold it by the corners, that's what activates it. That's why we didn't even think to hold it in the bottom, the middle of the bottom edge.
I only realized when I started unpacking.
And you noticed it by chance?
Yeah, by chance, because I was just putting it away and then it started suddenly animating.
Yeah. So for our listeners in the past who wondered why are they looking at marketing materials that are so basic, they weren't. We just missed that minor detail.
We just grabbed it in the wrong way.
Mm-hmm. We were holding it wrong.
Yes. Okay, but then I would say on to today's topic.
To the Televator, which
Televator.
I have right here.
We have it right here, and
in
it's
front of us. I'll put it on the desk.
There we have it. It's a trend.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where it came from.
Sure, it's a very just within the last week.
Yep, and suddenly everybody seems to have a Televator.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have one.
No, likewise. We were lucky in that regard.
Yes.
So, because they're so popular, they're sold out everywhere. Luckily, I have a new neighbour.
Yes.
And they lent it to me. I mentioned that I make a podcast and that, we would like to have one to talk about, but I hadn't been able to buy one. So they said, hey, I've got one. You can borrow it.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's great that you have a new neighbour.
I think some weeks ago, we had the episode we went to that apartment, that had been sealed for 200 years.
Mm.
It's no longer sealed, obviously. I mean, we went in there. Okay, since then, the housemeister has cleared it out, and now it's just been rented out like a regular apartment.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice for you to have a neighbor that's actually there.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, actually, that you can see. Mm-hmm. But I'm kind of sad that...
About the apartment? Yeah, I would have appreciated... I mean, obviously, the housemeister had no obligation to do this, but I would have really appreciated if it given me notice that you and I could have gone there at least one more time. I mean, I know we ran away scared because of the noises, but, we could have steeled ourselves...
Or help clearing it out, or just take a peek when they were
I
doing
did
it.
ask, what happened to the stuff that was in there? He said, just threw it out.
No.
We didn't get a chance to look through
200 years of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Or 200 years ago stuff.
Yeah, or I think it was was it 200 or like...
a bit less, yeah.
Yeah.
Closer to our listeners' time than our...
Yes, definitely. And it was we didn't get a proper chance to take a look around a long time. Mm-hmm. And then you were saying hey, I have a new neighbor. I was like, cool. And then you said, they're in this apartment. I was like, oh man, no. It's just somebody carelessly throwing something away that you...
Yeah. I mean, I tell you what, how many? So just under 200 years from now, because we can go back in time 200 years, yeah?
Ooh.
So just under 200 years from now, we probably won't be around anymore. But our listeners in the future, maybe they come back in time, do a bit of research for us.
Or the listeners in the past just put in some effort to stay alive.
Indeed, the other way around. They can just stay around exactly however many more years they need. Basically 199 and so. They can pass it on as a family legacy. It's unlikely they'll still be alive, but they can pass it on as a story through the generations, their great-great-great-grandchildren or whoever. Maybe they can check it out.
But there's there's somebody there right now, right?
Right now, yeah.
Because the apartment, no, but I mean, like the apartment 200 years ago,
Oh,
that already
there
existed.
was also, the building, was this building about back then? Yes, yeah.
Okay. So maybe it's the same person already living there. No. Okay, whatever. No, we're getting way off topic. Anyway,
off topic.
Your new neighbor
Was very kind, lent us the Televator that we have here in front of us.
Yes.
It's only been out for a week, so it's a new model. They didn't lend me the manual or the packaging, so we just have the device itself.
Yeah, but we have a Televator. Yay.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody speaks about it. We have it. Yes.
Yeah, we've got one right here.
Do we want to describe what it looks like?
Good idea. Shall I paint a word picture?
Yeah.
Okay, so wider than it is tall. So how big? About the size of my hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wider than it is tall. About 2 centimeters thick. Tapered. So thicker in the middle, thinner on the edges. It's got a screen in the middle. Buttons either side. Top edge has a hole in it. Bottom edge has some sliders.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially the hole is kind of strange. It's
On the
kind
top
of,
here, yeah. I guess it looks like something might come out of there.
It either come out or goes in, or
Sure. Looks, I mean, also, so I'm holding it horizontally now, so wider than it is tall. Maybe actually you're meant to hold it like this, and so it has these 2 buttons at the top right and left corners. Maybe they're like triggers. You hold it like this, so I'm holding it now vertically. Maybe you pull the triggers at the same time, and something comes out of that slot.
Yeah. It's and it's
So
also
it really would have helped to have the manual. Yeah.
And it has a few like barely okay.
You can have a look.
No, someone's giving it to me. I mean, you describe most of it. What I find interesting, it has very thin lines along the edges and also along the screen and along basically every kind of edge.
I mean, like grooves, yeah. Or
I think they're meant to be lights.
lights. Like LED strips.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is, and there's also like the rest of it is like kind of. The casing is kind of transparent.
Yeah,
right?
translucent. Yeah, like you can't. It's not completely clear, like glass, but you can see through it. You can see like through to the insides.
Is there when there's stuff inside happening? I mean, it's switched off right now.
Yeah,
you can probably see.
The lights will glow through.
Possibly, yeah, and also maybe the stuff happens inside when you switch it on.
Indeed, and that's why it's translucent that we can see.
Yeah. So I'm not touching any buttons or levers at the moment yet because
that's wise.
That's what we'll do later. I'm putting it back here.
Yep.
So we basically describe what it looks like. I hope that was enough.
Slightly purple.
Yes.
So translucent, slightly purple.
Yeah. Half purple, half translucent. Yeah, good point.
Yeah. No, I mean, so yeah, you're right. Actually, on the back, it's more solid, but on the front here, the translucent parts are also tinted purple.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Sorry, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Like,
I see what you mean now, half. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think of it?
It's much lighter than I expected. Like looking at it, and then when when my neighbor handed it to me and I looked at it, I was like, okay, that's going to be something hefty. But no, it's much lighter than I thought. It's not a bad thing necessarily, but kind of when things are a little bit heavier, sometimes they feel like more, more expensive, like they're worth more. So this feels a little bit on the cheaper side, though we know, of course, from the price that it's definitely not.
But I guess it's when you're using it, it's probably useful that it's not so heavy.
Exactly. There's a trade-off there, yeah. Like things can feel fancier if they're heavier, but then if you're actually using it a lot, you actually would prefer it to be lighter.
I'm also thinking because it's partially translucent, that also makes sense, of course, when you're using it, because what you use it for, I guess, helps when it's half translucent.
Yeah, makes sense. What else? The buttons themselves, I know you didn't want to push them, but it's off, so I think it's fine to press them. These 2 over here, I like the feel of.
On the side.
On the right side, yeah. The ones I mentioned in the top left corner, those don't feel so good. Like I want them to have more clickiness, and they're really like subtle. I don't like them so much. But the ones on the right edge are good, and left edge is okay, but the right edges, those buttons are satisfying.
So if we consider the device as a whole, right? Do you think it's actually that useful?
I mean, it's so popular, yeah, it must be. Like, it wouldn't just be a thing where people are buying a thing because other people are buying a thing. It must really be that it's a very useful object. It's really improving people's daily lives.
Yeah, exactly. That was the question I had, because is it Is it really necessary in our daily life? Is it really the thing that we were needing?
I mean, so my neighbor who lent it was happy to lend it to us for the show. Did ask that I give it back to them straight as soon as possible. So they had an urgency to it. So it's, at least for them,
Okay.
it is important. Yeah, it's not like something they bought and then they regret.
So you would say it's definitely useful. You would consider it useful.
Yeah, yeah.
Where do you think it would be used the most?
Maybe like especially when you're doing spring cleaning. Doesn't have to be springtime, yeah, but basically doing a thorough clean of your house, your home, that kind of thing.
Makes total sense. Yeah, I would have said that as well.
Especially if you're deep cleaning carpets.
And I was guessing, but maybe this is a bit of a stretch. I was thinking maybe in the park.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Especially in the autumn when there's so many leaves, you want to sweep them up. Well, not sweep them up, but tidy them up.
Yes.
It could be really good for that.
Yes, that's what I was getting at. Yes. Okay, leaves in the park. Yeah. So okay, so it is actually kind of a useful thing.
I think so.
Do you have any concerns?
I do have one. Again, not having the manual, I'm not entirely sure how safe it is.
Oh, yeah.
And so especially having the translucent housing, one concern I have is so this is just an if it produces a lot of radiation, will the translucent housing be enough to keep it shielded, like to keep it inside basically?
Does it have radiation?
I don't know.
Well, we have it here right on the desk.
Yeah, it doesn't have any radiation symbols on it. See on the back here? No, it doesn't have any such symbols. So it's really, I'm just saying, if that was the case, then I would be worried about it. A couple of weeks ago, we were talking when we had our anniversary episode, I think one of your favorites was the uranium lamp. That got radiation back on my mind.
Yeah.
So I don't think this has any radiation going on with it, but if it did, this housing does not. So the other way around. Is it a concern? Totally not a concern. With such a housing as this, it must not have any radioactive stuff going on.
See, now you're having me worried. Since last time, I'm maybe a little bit paranoid. So, but now we don't actually know if it has radiation or not.
Correct. Yourself, do you have any concerns? Okay, the one I've just given you, but did you have any concerns before that?
I have to admit, actually don't know what it does.
You don't know what the Televator does?
I have no idea what it is. I was going to do research up front, but I had some pressing issues to... So I have to rely on you for this one.
And same, basically. I also don't actually know what it does. I didn't have time. I also intended, find out what it does. So we're both aware of it, of course. It's really taken off the last week. It's very popular. From the advertisements that I've seen people, it looks like they're using it in some kind of house cleaning project, So that's why I think it's intended for that, but I didn't watch the whole advert, I missed the end, so I'm not 100% sure.
So you don't know either what it is?
Not exactly, no.
So where did you get the radiation? You were just
for real speculating.
Okay.
That wasn't in any of the advertisements I saw. I didn't see any warnings.
So all we know is what it looks like, and that maybe it has something to do with house cleaning.
Yeah. Like I said, I didn't see the end of the advert, so it could have been where, the beginning of the advert showing house cleaning, and at the end it's like, actually, this is nothing to do with that. That was a misdirection. And actually it's about radioactive stuff. I don't know. So,
shall we maybe switch it on? Maybe like live find out what it is?
That seems a really good idea, exactly, because that way, for our listeners, okay, we've talked about the device, what little we do know, but maybe it's more satisfying for them if we do actually.
I mean, we can switch it off and just, press a few buttons and pull a few levers and just see what happens. Yeah,
exactly. So here's the switch. Shall I switch it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Oh, nice.
Cool. Wow,
the screen's lit up, of course.
And there's stuff poking out now. See?
Yeah, like a projection coming up. Yep.
That's
interesting
actually
stuff.
Let's press some buttons.
Okay, there you go.
So I'm pressing this one. Whoa, okay.
Nice. And if I press these...
So now the lights are glowing.
Cool, yeah. And when I hold down the shoulder, the ones on the shoulders, on the top right of corners, there you go.
Oh, wow, there's a gleaming light here on the...
Yeah. Oh, and then, hey, look, something is coming out of the slot after all.
Can you point it? No,
yeah,
that sounds...
What's going on?
That sounds.
Oh, well, yeah. Well,
just point it.
I'm going to keep it pointed away from me just in case. And then what's going on? That's a new feature in my apartment.
There's a hole in your wall.
Exactly. So I'm glad. For a while there, I was looking into this hole on the top of the televator. I'm glad I pointed it away from me, because just a couple of moments later, a big red beam came out of it and melted a hole in my wall. You can see through to the room next door.
Whoa. I like what you did to your bedroom.
Yeah.
I mean, except for the big hole in the wall now there too. But
sure. Yeah, I had a poster on that wall as well, so I guess that poster now is, yeah.
Did you always have all this rubble on your bed, or is it from the blast?
I think the rubble is from the blast just now.
Okay. But it did
a nice job, yeah? Like the edges are really smooth.
I was going to say that, yeah.
Like a bit glossy.
And I guess it did kind of clean your room? Just made the other one more dirty?
Yeah. I mean, there'll be more airflow now,
yeah.
Especially when I air out the apartment, that will help.
I mean, the thing is, if you ever want a massive hole in a wall...
I mean, I guess it might also work for making holes in the floor or ceiling.
True. Although I wouldn't... it could just be that we were just pressing the wrong buttons.
Possible.
Okay. Cool. We are not sure if this is what the device is meant to do. It also...
but it definitely does do this.
And it also completely powered down by itself.
Yeah, maybe... We switch it. Should I try and switch it on?
No, don't switch it on.
No? I mean, just to see if it switches on.
Yeah, okay.
No, it's not even... Maybe its batteries are empty.
Maybe it's a one-time thing.
Maybe. I mean, I guess it uses a lot of energy to make a hole in a wall, so...
I guess, yeah.
Maybe it needs to be charged
or
up.
maybe there needs to be a cartridge or something in there. Oh man, I hope it doesn't just have one shot and you give it back to your neighbor and they wanted a hole in their wall.
I'll ask when I give it back to my neighbour in the morning. I'll ask.
Or just say, thanks, we didn't touch it, just in case.
No, I like to be honest with folks. So
okay.
I'll find out.
Yeah, and at least on the other hand, if you would have pointed it at that wall, you could have told them straight away.
Directly, yeah.
Through the hole.
Indeed,
it's good that you pointed at your bedroom wall.
That was good luck.
Okay, cool. Wow.
Yeah. Right, I have so let's continue with the episode, and then afterwards I'll do some tidying up.
Yeah. Which means the listener email.
Indeed, yeah.
We got one.
We do. We do. I'm going to read out the email, and then we can respond.
Yes.
So, this is an email from Maya B. And Maya wrote, "Hey there, Maya here from Germany. I'm a bit of a bird fan, and you've occasionally mentioned sentient animals. Are there sentient birds too, and do they behave differently? Choose, Maya."
There are...
Yeah,
totally.
I mean, of course, sentient animals, it would be kind of, at least from my perspective, it would be very, very unusual if there were sentient animals, but somehow no sentient birds.
Yeah.
So, to answer your question, Maya, yes, there are sentient birds.
And I mean, I don't know any personally, but I know them. I know some of them, but not personally.
Like you know of them.
Oh, I know of them. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you occasionally meet them on the street.
Sure.
I mean, it's not a thing. I think we pointed it out a few times. Like with robots, they're everywhere. Sentient animals, there are not so many of them. I mean, there are quite a lot. So if you go, if I go to Frankfurt downtown, I always see a few, but they're much less because it's much more regulated. But they behave differently.
Right. And presumably, behave. The question was, do they behave differently from birds back 200 years ago? So non-sentient.
Yeah.
Birds, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's like one big way they're different? So like, if a bird poops on you, and it's a sentient bird, you know it's personal.
Yes.
You know, it's not going to be like just by chance.
Yeah.
You can't tell really if it's a sentient bird or not. Like if they're high up in the sky, you can't tell. But if you could tell.
I mean, the thing is like, because they have all the features of normal birds, you can't really easily tell them apart just by looking at them. Of course, if you see them sitting on a bench reading a newspaper then they're sentient.
Yeah, or riding around in a hover car.
But sentient birds also, they have the possibility to, pretend to be non-sentient, which they are occasionally using if they have
going undercover.
Yeah, if they have a beef with somebody.
Oh, indeed. Plausible deniability.
Yeah, that was, okay, I just had a bird pooping on me every time when I leave the house.
Yeah. So, okay, but that's really just if a bird's...
Yeah.
A bird will do that if it's, like a person would do that maybe if they were the same deal with a bird. Okay, but yeah, other differences?
What I know is how they migrate.
They...
Yeah, exactly. They use portals.
Why not? Exactly. So regular birds, I presume our listeners know, they migrate by flying, often huge distances. And in this case, with sentient birds, they've worked out, we need to get over there, but flying isn't necessary. How about we also fly, but fly through a portal? Make the trip much shorter.
It's especially, I know it from we used to have northern bald ibis working at the UFOPO, or Waltrap, as they're called here. And they migrate across the Alps.
Yeah.
So, like their non-sentient brethren, they needed to leave when autumn started because they need to cross all the Alps flying until they got to Italy.
Okay. It took a while, I guess.
Took a while, yeah. And then the same thing again in spring.
Sure.
And but the sentient ones, they would just walk through a portal, and on the other end. So when they're non-sentient brethren arrived, they would already there and
already set up.
Bit of a welcome party.
Ah, nice. And I guess also they'd be the ones to leave later.
Yep.
So they'd be the ones setting up the welcome party, also the ones doing like tidying up.
Yeah, exactly. Like making everything ready for the winter or the summer, and then they leave. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. And then I don't know how much we want to talk about this all in this episode. Maybe this is worth talking about in a dedicated one, because another big difference to predator birds like eagles and hawks and so on.
Yeah.
Sentient ones of those often are vegan.
True.
Yeah.
Either vegan same with the other predatory animals.
Exactly, yeah. So this was just about birds, but exactly predatory animals in general often decide, it's not like out of necessity, but they decide to be vegan, or some of them make the distinction. They still keep eating other animals, but they'll make a distinction. Then they will only eat other animals that are non-sentient.
Yeah.
They won't eat animals that are sentient.
Yeah, that's the... I'm not sure which one of them is the weird thing, or if any of it is weird, but I can imagine, because sentient birds, they have all the possibilities. They can have the food printed in Congos and so on.
Exactly.
So they don't really need to prey on other animals.
They don't need to, no.
And it also, I can imagine, if you're sentient, it kind of feels weird, especially if you're sitting on a flying car and a sentient rabbit gets in, sits next to you as an eagle. Both of you are sentient. Both of them are reading the same newspaper. You're not eating that rabbit.
Right.
I can see that.
At least not on that car ride,
Exactly, not right there, unless you have a beef with them. But if they're non-sentient, I can imagine it still feels weird.
Sure, because to the point of the pooping birds earlier, from far away you can't necessarily tell, And especially in the case of an eagle, like they're super high up, they're using their really cool vision. They can see a rabbit down on the ground below, but from so far away they can't necessarily. Well, how the question rather is, can they tell whether that rabbit's sentient or not? I mean, okay, the rabbit's reading a newspaper, they can probably work it out. But if the rabbit's just hanging out, having a nice sleep in the shade or something. And
I can also imagine how that must feel for the sentient rabbits that might just be around.
Yeah.
It's I think it's a debate that they still will need to have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I mean, there's like, okay.
But that's a pretty big difference compared to non-sentient birds, where none of this stuff comes up.
That is even discussed and considered and debated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. On that note,
could be the end of the episode, I guess.
Yes.
So, listeners to Tests from the Future, please send an email to michaellasagna5@gmail.com and put the number 241 in the subject line so that we know this episode successfully went back in time. And when you have questions about the Televator or my neighbour or bunny rabbits, please include those too.
Yes. And for now, thanks for listening and see you in 200 years. Bye-bye.